Hey, welcome back. If you are on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits right now, I need you to stop scrolling, stop whatever you are doing, and watch this video all the way through, because what I am about to share with you could literally change your financial life. We are talking about a $1,330 minimum per month tied directly to the 2026 federal poverty level for every single person receiving benefits administered by Social Security. And I know that sounds big. I know it might sound like something you have heard before, but this time there is a real document, a real plan, and critically important timing that makes right now, the most important moment we have had in years to make this happen. So stay with me, and I'm going to bring my wife Corey in a little later to actually read the document to you word for word, because I want you to hear every detail of it. This one is important. Now, for those of you who are new here, welcome to the community. This channel exists for one reason and one reason only, to fight for the people who are being left behind by a system that was supposed to protect them. I have been covering Social Security, disability benefits, veterans benefits, and financial assistance programs for years. I am not a politician, I am not a lobbyist, I am just someone who cares deeply about what is happening to the roughly 70 million Americans who depend on these programs to survive. And today, we are talking about something that I personally drafted, a letter addressed directly to the United States Congress, because I believe we have the upper hand right now, and I refuse to let this moment pass without using it. Timing is everything, and the timing right now is critical. Thank you for taking the time to read this critically important information that you must fully understand before the midterm elections. Do you realize that nearly 40 million Americans, or 11% of our population, is currently living in poverty? Roughly 9 million of which are seniors aged 65 and older. Furthermore, nearly 15% of the senior population is living under the federal poverty level. Statistics also show that roughly 17 million seniors are financially insecure. Just in case you haven't figured this out, this group is focused in your largest cohort of voters. During this year of affordability, we suggest you consider some critical adjustments before it's too late. The federal poverty level in 2026 is now $15,960 for an individual and $21,640 for a household of 2 people. This translates into $1,330 monthly for an individual and $1,803 monthly for a household of 2. As previously mentioned, nearly 40 million people are currently living in poverty in America, millions of which are seniors and people with disabilities living on fixed income benefits, including Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, and others. Just think for a moment, what if you were to lift all benefits to a minimum of the federal poverty line and index them to the FPL? This simple move would instantly lift 10+ million seniors, people with disabilities, and Social Security beneficiaries out of poverty. Do you agree that this would be an instant and massive political win? Everyone wins in this scenario. You win because it looks really good politically. 10+ million people win by being lifted out of poverty, and the economy wins because that money will be spent on necessities and living expenses. Our final thoughts and questions to you are the following. In this year of affordability, how much longer are you going to allow the majority of the American people to suffer? You have the power of the purse to make the necessary changes to manipulate the trajectory of the United States. How much longer are you going to allow seniors, people with disabilities, and Social Security beneficiaries to live in poverty on your watch? Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so there is the document. Let me break this down for you piece by piece, because every single word in that letter matters. The core ask is this: raise all Social Security, SSDI, SSI and VA benefits to a minimum of the 2026 federal poverty level, which is $1,330 per month for an individual, and then index those benefits to the FPL, so they automatically adjust every single year. No more falling behind, no more watching the cost of living go up while your check stays flat. A permanent, automatic floor. That is the goal, and it is not complicated. That is what I love about this. It is not some convoluted 500-page piece of legislation. It is a clean, simple, powerful idea. Nobody receiving federal benefits should live below the poverty line. Done. Now, let me tell you exactly who we are fighting for with this letter, because these are real people, and I want you to feel the weight of these numbers. We are talking about nearly 40 million Americans. That's 11% of our entire population who are currently living in poverty. Go to your local grocery store. Count 100 people walking around. Statistically, 11 of them are in poverty. That is not a third world statistic. That is the United States of America in 2026. And for one of the wealthiest, most developed countries on the planet, that number is absolutely unacceptable. Of those 40 million people, roughly 9 million are seniors aged 65 and older, and nearly 15% of the entire senior population is living under the federal poverty level right now. On top of that, about 17 million seniors are classified as financially insecure, meaning they are one medical bill, one car repair, one emergency away from falling into poverty, if they are not already there. We are also talking about people on SSDI who became disabled before they had decades of earnings to build up a meaningful benefit. A young person who gets seriously injured and can no longer work does not have the same work history as someone who put in 40 years. Their benefit reflects that, and right now, that can mean surviving on next to nothing.
And we are talking about SSI recipients, some of the most financially vulnerable people in this country, whose federal maximum benefit is still sitting below the poverty line. That is not a safety net. That is a slow fall. Our veterans are in this fight too. Men and women who served, who came home with service-connected disabilities, who deserve far better than what the current system delivers. This proposal covers them too. Here's why the timing on this is so critically important, and I want you to really hear this. We are in what is being called the year of affordability in 2026. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are talking about the cost of living crisis. Everyday Americans, not just benefit recipients, are feeling the squeeze. Groceries are up, rent is up, everything costs more. And that shared pain creates a political opening that does not come around very often. On top of that, and this is huge, midterm elections are coming. And I said it plainly in that letter to Congress, this group, the 40 million plus Americans living in poverty, the 70 million people on Medicare, the tens of millions on Social Security, these are your largest cohort of voters. Politicians need these votes, and right now we have leverage. This is what I mean when I say we have a little bit of the upper hand right now. They want your vote. They need your vote. And the question we are putting directly to them in that letter is, how much longer are you going to allow seniors, people with disabilities, and Social Security beneficiaries to live in poverty on your watch? That is a question that demands an answer, especially before an election. Now, I know what some lawmakers are going to say. They're going to say, who's going to pay for it? And I want to address that head on, because I address it in the letter too. They always find money. They find money for all kinds of spending all the time. We're running a national deficit of roughly $1.8 trillion, meaning the government spends $1.8 trillion more than it brings in every single year. So when they find the money to spend on other things and then turn around and say there is no money to lift seniors out of poverty, that argument does not hold water. But here's the deeper economic argument, and this is the one I really want lawmakers to understand. Who powers the economy? It's not the top 10% alone. It's the consumer. It's everyday people spending money on groceries, on rent, on utilities, on medicine. If you put more money in the hands of the bottom 90%, the people who are genuinely tapped out right now, they spend every single dollar of it. It goes right back into the local economy. Businesses get revenue, they hire people, they expand. The economy grows. Right now, the top 10% of income earners are driving the vast majority of consumer spending in this country. If they pull back, and they can afford to pull back, this economy goes down fast. But the people we're talking about in this letter, if you give them $1,330 a month guaranteed, they're not putting it in a savings account. They're buying food. They're paying their electric bill. They're getting their prescriptions filled. That money moves. That money stimulates. Lifting people out of poverty is an economic win, and that's an argument that even the most fiscally conservative lawmaker cannot ignore. So here's the good news, and there is real good news here. The 2026 federal poverty level has already been updated to $15,960 annually for an individual, which breaks down to exactly $1,330 per month. That number exists. It's official. It's already the government's own definition of what it takes to not be in poverty. All we're asking is that they honor that number for the people who depend on them most. The political environment is genuinely favorable right now. The affordability conversation is happening everywhere, in Congress, in the media, at kitchen tables across the country. The groundwork is laid. What we need now is for the voices of 40 million people to be loud enough that lawmakers cannot ignore them, and this letter is one piece of that. So here's what I need from you, and I mean every word of this. Contact your representatives. Call your senator. Call your House representative. Tell them you support raising Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits to a minimum of the federal poverty level. Tell them you support indexing those benefits to the FPL permanently. It takes 10 minutes. It counts more than you think, especially right now with midterms on the horizon. Share this video. Share it with every senior, every person with disabilities, every veteran, every family member who is on fixed income benefits. The more people who see this letter, the louder this message gets. We need 40 million voices, and it starts with you passing this along. Stay informed. Things are moving fast. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell because I'll be covering every update to this proposal as it develops. You won't miss a thing. I want to close with this because I genuinely mean every word of it. I drafted that letter because I'm tired of watching the people in this community suffer quietly. Seniors who worked their entire lives, people with disabilities who didn't choose their situation, veterans who gave everything, people who did everything right and are still living below the poverty line because the system has not kept pace with reality. $1,330 a month is not a luxury. It's the government's own definition of the bare minimum, and we're simply asking them to honor it. The timing is right, the political pressure is building, the affordability conversation is everywhere, and if enough of us speak up, if enough of us call, write, share, and make our voices heard before those midterm elections, I truly believe this can happen. So please, subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think about this letter. Tell me where you live and how these benefit levels are affecting your daily life. Your story matters, and your community needs to hear it. I'm going to keep doing what I can to represent and advocate for every single one of you in this community. You deserve more, and we're not going to stop pushing until you get it. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.